Lisa, stick around for a minute because we want to now get to the crux of this matter with Haley Robson. Haley was 16 years old when she met Jeffrey Epstein. Before it became law, she spoke, along with many survivors of Epstein's crimes, in support of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Haley, thank you for being with us. And we're sorry that you have to keep on doing this. You have to keep on not just telling us the story, which is important, but trying to just get something honest out of the Department of Justice. They've claimed this is over. We've got the files we're going to get, and there's no more prosecution to have. How does that make you feel?
I don't think the DOJ or this administration gets to call it quits. They're not in charge anymore. And I think that's part of the problem. They're not realizing it. The survivors are not going away. We are not going to sit back. We are going to keep fighting and keep moving forward. And we have some incredible attorneys and a lot of support. And we are going to keep the pressure on as much as we can.
Sloppy redactions expose the name of many survivors. Some women, in the first 2 days, there was nude photos of some survivors, that it wasn't for the New York Times alerting the DOJ. They would still be up there. What has that been like for you and some other survivors that I know you're in communication with?
To be clear, I'm flabbergasted at this whole chaotic situation. I mean, when you don't think it could get any worse and then you hold your breath and you're like, oh, it just got worse. You know, to be quite clear on my right, they've done a very sloppy job. It's been very unprofessional. It's been heartless. And this is what I would consider a war on not just the sexual assault survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, but this is a war on every survivor that has ever come forward. This is retribution. That's what it feels like for us.
Do you think that America will ever learn the names of these other men that you and other survivors have said trafficked them? Because there's a lot of other men whose names continue to be redacted.
So I would like to be honest in answering this, and I hope I don't offend the media. I absolutely do think it's possible. But I think for now, I think the goal or maybe a game plan should be, let's back off Trump for a little bit and stop making it about him, because there are other men that are equally involved in those files. So let's refocus the energy on some of the other men that are or have already been named. And let's open up an investigation and see if they are going to implicate other men in the process. Let's wait and see what the Clintons do. Maybe they'll be the ones to save the day. But I definitely think it's possible if we can refocus our energy on not just Trump, but let's move away from that and start focusing on the other individuals that have been implicated or named in the files.
Haley, I appreciate you saying that, because, and frankly, you should be as critical of the media as you'd like, because we can take that and we should take all of this criticism. Talk to me about the refocusing, because there is an issue here in that there are a lot of people who follow this because they wonder whether this is going to be the thing that brings Donald Trump down. And I understand why people believe that and care about that. But that's not even close to being the most important story here, right? The survivors are the most important story. The idea that there was sex trafficking of girls is the most important story. Tell me more about the refocus that you'd like to see, that you and the survivors would like to see from us.
And can I ask, is there anyone specific?
Anyone specific for
besides
that I would
Donald
like to see
Trump?
implicate? All of them. Specifically Acosta. You know, I personally, for me, and I hate to speak for the survivors because we're all individual human beings.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That's right.
But I think the refocus does need to happen. And I think as a group of survivors, we need to take a step back and we need to start pulling away from this administration and Trump and expecting them to help us and really, you know, and I know Congress. I mean, I'm so thankful for Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, but I know that they have poured their heart and soul into this. And I know that if we can get with Congress and come up with a game plan of, hey, listen, we know that there have been people named. We know that there's probably a slim chance that there's going to be investigations. but let's get this taken care of. Let's refocus on the other people that are named in these files. So maybe those people will implicate other people along the way is usually how it happens. I obviously don't have a written strategic plan, but I'm open to listening to Congress. I'm open to working with the attorneys. Open to working
Pets
with
are
the
welcome.
attorneys as well.
This segment just went viral.
Pets are always, well, it is the best part about having guests join us from home. Pets are welcome.
I'm so sorry. But yes, I would love to speak to Congress. I would love to speak to my attorneys. I would love to speak with some of the other girls and see about coming up with a strategy to refocus and revamp on some of the other names that are in those files. I don't think strategy-wise for us to keep focusing on just Trump alone is going to get us anywhere, because we're already being met with so much resistance from the DOJ and from other individuals. So I think it's time that we need to refocus and then come back to it.
Haley, thank you so much. And one day we're going to have you on to talk about things that are a little more celebratory than this. But I appreciate the work that you and the other survivors are doing to keep us and the whole country
Thank you.
accountable. Haley Robson.